3. All right. Good, well, afternoon to everybody, almost. What time is it here? It's 11. Not quite afternoon here, but good afternoon if you're on the East Coast, or some of my friends who I know watch in other countries. Hello to you. So I have just prepped her up here. Let me make sure I actually got this set up yesterday. Make sure there's no volume. And we can see if anyone's here to say hello. So I've got her all prepped for her nails today. She's got all of her removal. Everything is good to go. Hi Delia, hi Jada. Hello to everybody. So we are going to be doing her fill real quick with Trinity, and then I wanted to show you guys the trick to using these. She picked Annabis, which is this one, which looks purple in that way, but then, well, depending on how you look at it, it actually looks chocolate brown too, so it's pretty cool. I have, wow, I'm so almost out. I'm going to go, well, I can do it in here. I'm like super almost out of Trinity, but if I lean it, I have enough to do her fill. So I will have to get another one before my next client, though, for sure. All right. So I'm using my handy dandy 106 brush. It's my favorite brush. It's flat brush. And I do this so that I can have a nice smooth application. Pillow around the cuticle, leaving a 1 week grow out gap. That's so your color can fall into that gap. You don't need strength that close to the cuticle, but what you do want is a thin application so that as it grows out, it's really flush to the nail. And then I'm going to brush down off the tip. It's especially important with her because this nail actually scoops. So as long as you brush down on the tip, it will continue to create the right shape for her. There's a little, I'm just checking my line of light. There's a little divot there. All right, go ahead and we're going to flash that. 1, 2, out. The next one. And if you're doing your fills with Trinity, it should go relatively fast this step, unless you are doing much longer nails. If you need an arch or something like that, that might change things. But in general, this step should be pretty quick. Less than 10 minutes typically for your application. And just check your line of light. Again, I brush down very lightly in the front, flash that. 1, 2, and out. And that flash cure does 2 things. It sets the product so that it doesn't continue to move. If they don't quite get a full 2 seconds, it will continue to move and you'll see product start to go into the cuticle. So if your clients just kind of go in and straight out, you need to count for them just to make sure that they're getting those 2 full seconds in the light so it doesn't spread. 1, 2, and then out. The other thing it does is also prevent heat. So if you're just doing those 2 seconds, typically you're not going to have anyone that's going to feel a heat spike. If you go for 3 seconds, you will feel the heat spike. So it's 1, 2, and then out. That is the proper count for Trinity. There's a little bit more needed just in that spot. And just brush down. Okay. 1, 2, and out. So again, I'm starting from one side, just moving over to the other side. Once I have it to the other side, then you're just going to hold your brush flat. So I'm holding it flat. That's why I have a flat brush. If you're using an oval brush and you feel like your nails are coming out bumpy and you have to finish file every time, it's because you're using an oval brush. When you use an oval brushes typically have a belly, and that belly creates a groove in the nail. It's great for when you're pushing gel around. It is not great for when you're trying to gloss a nail. And this Trinity step is really just a gloss layer. It's not very thick. 1, 2, and then you can come out and let it cool for a minute before you put it back in. So typically you don't want to have a gloss layer that is a problem. Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. I was focused on her poor finger here. There's a little piece of lint. Check your line of light. Make sure you don't have extra in the front. A lot of times once you apply it, you get a little bit of a bump in the front. So if you do that, it works. Can you show from the side? All right, I'm gonna go a different angle. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to push from the side. This isn't, for how short her nails are, she doesn't really need an apex. You need an apex when you're building a long extension, or if someone has really flat nails and you're trying to give them a better shape. But for a 30-day manicure where you're basically just replacing your base coat with Trinity, which is exactly what this is, you don't need a big apex. So it's not necessary to be making a big arch. All I'm doing is just gliding it over the nail. One side to the other. Touch. I'm touching where that pillow was and very carefully dragging it down. Okay, go ahead. I think it's a little low. So I have too much on my brush this time. So what I'm going to do is just remove and put it back in the pot before I do my gloss layer. Okay, go ahead. 1, 2. She says she does a lot of short nails, so she never knows how much to put on. And like I said, you're just trying to get a decent gloss. It's very thin at the cuticle, and the application, you don't need to have a big arch. You want to keep it looking as natural as possible. But if someone has a scoop nail or something, definitely fix it and give them a better natural looking nail by adding a little bit in the center. Otherwise, it's just a gloss layer. So it's very thin. And again, brush down in the middle. Oops, sorry. Let's add a frame. Just a little piece of lint there. Come out wherever you are. 5 points. What movie is that from? You don't remember. Come out wherever you are. Okay, give that another flash cure. All right, so now we are working with, I guess I'll do like this angle, see if that'll be better for you. Okay, so now we are working with the metallics. So these metallics colors are extremely, I mean, as you can see, they're basically chromes. So what I have figured out with these is that because they're basically a chrome, they don't give a lot of tacky layer. So what you need to do, good job, Delia, she said Wizard of Oz, that's correct. All right, so X-Bond. X-Bond from Accents is what I use as a friend to metallics. And it's literally just a very thick coat. But before and after every coat of metallics, I've started just putting on a quick coat of X-Bond. Why? Because the metallics is basically, like I said, it's a chrome. And we all just, chromes tend to drive us crazy because people have problems with it separating from the color, or anything we put on it separating, and it's not the most fun to use. And when I first used this metallics, I was like, oh, this stuff's awesome. And luckily I used it on a friend, and she came back in, and all of the glitter I had put on had just peeled right off of it because the metallics left no sticky layer for that glitter gel to stick to. So we tried again, but I used X-Bond after the metallics, and it stuck just fine. So now I'd use X-Bond literally before and after any layer of metallics. Doesn't take very long to do it, but it is an essential step to making sure that your metallic stays perfect for up to a month without a problem, because my clients do go a month. All right, we'll go back up like this. All right, how many seconds am I curing Trinity? Trinity cures for 30 seconds total. So when she goes in for a flash cure, it's 1, 2, and then out. But then when we go in for the full cure, it's the full 30 seconds. So it's just while I'm working on the other hand. You guys see how good and opaque that is? It's a really cool, yeah. And they come as two, so it's a perfect match. Go ahead and scoot out for a second. It's a perfect match. So it comes with your gel polish and your regular polish. So if you are still someone who does natural nails and needs regular polish, it does come with both when you get it. And it's really good coverage. Looks really cool. It is a really cool color. Oh, hello, Gail. Gail says hello to us.
See, from here it looks green, the way I see it.
From your angle right now, it looks green. It is. This is a cool color. It really does have so many. It shoots off so many colors, and I'm not sure what color everyone in the camera is saying, but it shoots off purple, green, and brown, depending on what angle you're looking at it. So it's a really cool, it's like a chameleon chrome. Okay, and I just double check it, just this little corner I got into earlier. Let's make sure that that's good. Okay. Delia's saying purple. Yeah, I think when you look at it straight on, it's purple. And then, like, from her angle, she sees green. And when I first took it out of the pot, I was like, oh, this is brown. So it really just depends on what angle you see. It's really cool. And her big decision that she has to make is, will she go shiny or will she go matte?
Mm-hmm.
Decisions.
We'll let them shine like this.
She'll let them shine.
Million colors.
Yeah, because you've done another one of these before, but we did matte on top, which kind of gives it a velvety appearance.
I want to show everybody how it looks in matte, and then you can take it off. But don't know. I think I'll let it shine this time.
All right.
Even though I'm not a shiny.
You're very shiny.
Yeah.
Shiny like a holiday.
Not me.
All right. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to do a layer of X Bond. Even sticking to itself, there's like no tack to this. And so I just, for safety's sake, I just do a quick layer of X Bond. If you have any kind of really good high intense bonding gel, you can use it. This is the kind of like the super bond that Accents came out with to work with just about any gel. And I don't use it all the time for very much because I don't do base coat underneath my gel polish. I use Trinity, but I use it for this. This is the absolute definite requirement for this product to make sure that it stays super well. Gail says, I see dead people. So funny. Yeah, we're getting into October. Everyone's going to watch their Halloween movies. You know, scary times. It's like, my daughter's 14 now, so I feel like I'm getting to the point where she's about at the age where some Halloween movies other than Hocus Pocus might be fun for her. And I'm thinking back to my, like, teenage days, and I'm like, oh, well, we could do I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream, but I'm like, do I wait a little longer? She's only 14, so I try to be pretty strict about what she watches, but I don't know. I think they're so goofy that and so probably for her at this age, probably so unrealistic that she would just find them funny and less scary than what we would think. So second coat, you get complete full coverage with this, no problem whatsoever. You cannot see through it.
So now it's brown.
Now it's brown for her. So it changes. It's really kind of cool. It's chameleon color.
For sure.
Nancy keeps popping back and forth. She can't decide if she wants to hang out with us. Hello, Nancy. Okay. Is that for all metallic gel polish, the X Bond? I would use it for any metallic gel polish that doesn't have a very good sticky layer. You don't need it. I haven't had a problem with like the Accents gel polishes. We don't have a lot of metallics in the bottle, but we have the gel play and everything's fine sticking to that. I use the Copper Dust all through the season because that is my favorite orange by far. It's, I'll show you. I think it's right on top there. But for these metallics gel polishes, I highly recommend using it because if I did a glitter fade on top of this, which is what I did the first time I used metallics, I did a glitter fade on it. The glitter just peeled right off of her nails within, I think, 2 weeks because it just didn't have enough bond to it. Normally it can stick to a tacky surface, but without enough of a tacky surface, it can't stick. So it really, really helps to just apply that extra X Bond and makes sure that everything adheres really well. And in my opinion, it is totally worth it because messing with chromes is honestly just a big pain. And you still end up with problems and you have to file the edges and all this stuff. And with this stuff, you don't have to do that. But again, right before I top coat, even to make sure my top coat sticks, I'm gonna do a quick X Bond. Now you probably could cheat and just go with Trinity because Trinity has bonding in it as well. But I tend to top coat with Luxio, so I'm going to do just this quick layer. But I mean, realistically, it takes me, what, 30 seconds maybe to brush all 5 nails. So it's not a huge time increase to do this. And the results are worth it because you end up with perfect nails for a month. And you don't have to deal with chrome powders that are being moody chrome powders. And if you're wondering how I can pull her so easily, it's this lovely wrist assist. Still my favorite thing ever because it lets me get my client's hand exactly where I want it to be. Tanlin says she uses Trinity as a top coat for chromes and foils and it works great, and I absolutely agree. I still file the edges before I apply the Trinity to those because nothing really likes to stick to that stuff. But definitely for foils and chromes, it doesn't get better than Trinity because Trinity being a hard gel, it's a little bit more resistant to abuse when you're trying to protect delicate nail art such as chromes and foils. Not necessarily metallic foils, but like full coverage foils I'll use Trinity on as well. See, when I look at it from this angle, see it's purple there.
It's purple
but if you look at it from an angle,
this
it's
is
green.
like more dark brown,
and then it's brown. Yeah, it's just really cool. It's all of it.
So, you know, it's green.
All the colors. Yeah. All right, and now I'm just going to use my standard Luxio gloss and give a final coat. So the X Bond doesn't go on very thick at all. It's a very thin layer. You want to always make sure you're keeping nails as thin as possible so that they look great and natural. And your top coat can be your friend as well. If you see a little divot in your line of light, add just a touch more when you gloss, and it will help to smooth out the whole nail. And you can use Shine On if you desire. I typically use Luxio Gloss because Shine On's a little bit more runny, and I find that it gets in the cuticle too easily for me. So I tend to use Luxio Gloss more than Shine On. It's a great fall color, having all these different colors in it. It's really cool. And this is a 30-second. Oh, Nancy's bummed she's not coming to camp. I agree. I am sad that I won't see you. I am working on where camp is going to be next year. I believe there's only going to be one because I have to go do the Oregon show in May. And I was trying to find a facility that I could back up into that show, whether it was going down to California right after. I was trying to get Texas in May, but that's not working. So I might be able to do, I'm working on Texas in the fall now because all the facilities that I tried to get into were booked in the May. You'd be surprised how complicated it can be finding the correct facility.
What's happening in May?
I have a show in Oregon. I missed it this year because it got changed, and we had already planned nail camp in Florida, so I couldn't do it this year. So I rolled it to next year. So I definitely want to try to go and help, teach classes and stuff there. And we are going to be trying to build over the next year, so it's probably a good idea not to take off too much time. Come to Chicago. Chicago is on the short list, but not for this next year. But definitely plan to get to Chicago at some point. Jared's from Wisconsin, so we always fly into Chicago when we go visit his friends and family. So it's definitely one that we will be doing at some point. But I have to pick the dates carefully for that because you guys get more snow and crap weather than everybody. It's either too humid and hot for me or too snowy and freezing. So definitely will be a fall or spring situation, but not this year because we're going to try to hit Texas next year because it's central. So that way we can get one central location next year, and it will, I'm sure it's going to sell out. We sold out at Camp Burton this year. The camp that's in a month is sold out with a waiting list. So that is going to be busy. More people than we've had at that facility ever. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's kind of nice going somewhere again that I've been to. Whereas the past couple locations have been new locations, and that's can be a little tricky to know exactly where to place everybody before I've never seen it. But we're going to try to start visiting facilities early this time because it can be complicated. All right, what am I doing right now? All I'm doing is thinning out her natural nail, and this is for a couple of reasons. If she has natural nails that tend to curl as they grow, they will sometimes curl away from the gel, and then you get the problem where clients are picking at the corners underneath their nail and pulling it away, and then you end up with lifting and the nails pop off and it's a problem. So it's very important to do that technique at the end of your service. It also, of course, gives the nails a much thinner look because you've removed that little spot, which you don't need. There's a little tiny dab of color that got on your knuckle. There it is. But if you turn it over and you look down the barrel, you can see how thin this application is, right? So you can look at that one. It's a very thin application. And to make sure that you take that little bit away on the tip is going to keep them looking thin. So, all right, my friends, that is it for us today. Delia said if I ever go to New Jersey, I can help you out. New Jersey we'll probably do again, but we were just in Maryland last August, and so it'll be a little bit before we do that. I think Chicago and probably Maine, up where Jessica White lives, will probably be some of the other future locations. I'd like to do Maine in the fall because, you know, the fall colors are supposed to be amazing. And, you know, part of the reason of moving it around is kind of fun for people that have never been to an area. You know, you can go see a new state or a new location that you maybe wouldn't have gone to. So, alrighty. And I always file the perimeter, all the corners, because you want to make sure if any top coat went there, that it is gone. So everything can be smooth. And this is just on the very tip. You don't need it to go very far, but it's, again, going to give you the appearance the nails are much thinner, and it's going to prevent any curling as this client goes a month between appointments, okay? All right, guys, really cool color. That's the trick to using the metallics. Didn't really take me any longer to do it. I got this all filled and done in 25 minutes, so you guys can do it too. Thanks for joining us. We will talk to you guys later. Can you see all the colors? So cool. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.